Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today in this particular video I am going to take questions from stereochemistry. This is a very important topic on your from the organic chemistry itself, and you know that there are a lot of tricks, there are a lot of things which you have to keep in mind in order to find out a perfect stereochemistry or the absolute stereochemistry of the molecule. There are molecules with chiral axis, there are molecules with chiral planes, so you have to understand all of them, and this particular video will help you in that. I'll be taking 10 questions which have been asked in previous years of CSIR NET exam. I have taken it till like 2016, I guess. So we'll be taking those questions, we'll be understanding that what concept is applied in that particular question, and this is going to give you a thorough revision of this particular topic just before it exam. Okay, so believe me, the questions and the topics which we are going to discuss will help you to find out few new tricks for your upcoming exam. Okay, so yeah, let's straight away go into the video and let's try to solve some questions. Alright guys, so this first question which we'll be taking will be from CSIR December 2019 exam, and this question was a 4 marker question. Okay, this was asked for 4 marks in the exam. So the question says that the correct absolute configuration of the following compound is. If you look upon the molecules, these are two of them. We'll talk about both of them one by one. Let's talk about the first one. So the first molecule is a chiral molecule without because of the helicity of the molecule. Okay, so the molecule is chiral along a particular axis, along a helical axis, okay, or the coil. That's what it is called. So in order to find out the configuration, there are two types of configuration which we now name them, either P or the configuration goes as M. Okay, so P or M. The way how we approach is we have to start making an arrow from the group which is above the plane, and we have to go towards that particular ring which is below the plane. Okay, so start it from the above group and go till the below group. So if I do so, I will be having something like this. Okay, so my arrow will go in this direction. So now you just have to follow the direction of the arrow. So the arrow goes in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, the arrow is in anti-clockwise direction, right? So this is anti-clockwise. So if it is anti-clockwise, that means you have to name it as M. Okay, so the configuration or the absolute configuration for the first molecule is M. If it would be clockwise, we will call it as P configuration. Okay, so P and M, these are the two names. So you can cancel out option 3 and option 4, they will not be your correct answers. So either option 1 or option 2 is the correct one. Now we will look upon the molecule number 2. The molecule number 2 is ANSA compounds. Okay, these are called as your ANSA compounds, and they are like they have a chiral axis in them. So it's like just like a bucket, you can just compare it like a bucket. So this whole hydrocarbon chain you can consider as the handle of that bucket, and this phenyl ring as the bucket itself. Okay, so you can see that now here the way how we approach it or how we find out the configuration is to look upon the pilot atom. Now pilot atom is the atom from where that particular like the horizontal ring comes in. Okay, or where the plane passes through. So your pilot atom is this and this. Okay, it can be either this carbon or this carbon, any of them can be your pilot atom. Now you have to consider that pilot atom where the substituent comes at the least position. So if I start numbering from this pilot atom, so it will be like 1 2 3 4. So my substituent is coming at the 4th position. So this pilot atom is giving me substituent at the 4th position, whereas if I talk about this pilot atom and if I number it from here, so my substituent will come at 1 2 and 3. So it will come at the 3rd position itself. So that means what, this is going to be my pilot atom, because this is going to this is going to give me substituent at a least position. Now you just have to make an arrow along with the numbers. So just this arrow is going to give you, like this is going to give you an arrow in the clockwise direction. Since the arrow is in the clockwise direction, we will call it as R configuration. Okay, so if this arrow would have been anti-clockwise, we call it as S. So this is how we find out the stereochemistry of the ANSA compounds. Correct option for this particular molecule or for this particular question is going to be your option number 1. All right, so first one is M and second molecule is going to have R configuration. All right, so this is how we approach it. Let's go to the next question then. The next question over here says that the relationship between molecule A and B, these are the two molecules given over here. Now you can see that this is the conformation of cyclooctene, because we have a double bond also. Okay, you can see that there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 carbon atoms in both of them, so it's a cyclooctene. Now they cannot be conformers because the ring flipping will not be applicable over here, because we have a double bond over here, and that's why in a 8-membered ring this particular type of ring flipping is not going to take place. So these two groups or these two molecules are not conformers of each other. Same way they are not homomers, because you can see that this methyl was earlier in the equatorial position, now it is going to the axial position. So the position of the methyl group is changing, so obviously they are not identical or they are not homomers. Talking about enantiomers and diastereomers, now you have to look upon the conformation of these groups. Now in order to become enantiomer, if there are two like absolute configurations, or there are two configurations in the molecule, both of them should change. That means if I have for this particular alkene, if I say, so this alkene is E alkene, right, because these groups are on the opposite side. And if I talk about this particular carbon, this is the chiral carbon, if you find out the configuration, you will see that this is R. Okay, whether it is R or S, that doesn't matter, but yeah, if you will do, you will find out that it's R. Now if you go for this particular molecule, again this is E only, the configuration of this alkene is E, but the configuration of this particular carbon is going to change, it will become S, okay, because the methyl group has changed its position. So you can see that although this configuration is changing, R is getting converted into S, but this configuration of the double bond is not changing. That's why it cannot be enantiomer. In order to become enantiomer, this E should have been changed into Z or Z, okay. So enantiomer is a particular, like they will be called enantiomer if both the conformations changes or reverse each other. That's why we call it as enantiomers. So it's not enantiomer because one of the configuration is remaining same, the other one is changing. It can be R or S. I have not done it, I am just telling you randomly over here, but you can check it out, okay. So one of them will remain same, the other is changing, that's why they are diastereomer. That's the simple concept, or that's the simple logic which you have to apply to solve this. You don't even have to find out the conformation of these like configurations of these carbons, okay, these chiral carbons. Alright guys, let's go to the next one then. In the next question you can see that it says that the correct statement about the following compound is. This was asked in CSIR December 2016, and it's again from the same reference to the first question. The minimum number of rings which are required in order to make a molecule helically chiral is 3, okay. So there should be at least 3 groups or 3 rings in order to make the molecule helically active or helically chiral. Now the options over here are like 3 and 4 options says that the compound is achiral. So no, they are not achiral because they have at least 3 rings, and that's why the molecule will be chiral. Now what configuration do we have? The same concept or the same way we will apply to solve it. We will start making the arrow from the ring which is above the plane and will go towards the ring which is below the plane. So that's how it is going to be. Now you can see that this arrow is actually going in the clockwise direction, okay. So it's going in the clockwise direction, that's why this will be having a P conformation. So option number 1 is correct, that the compound is chiral and it has P configuration, okay. So the configuration is P. So that's why the option 1 is the correct option for this particular question. Okay, fine, I guess this much you understood. Let's go to the next one then. The next question over here says that among the following the optically active molecule, okay. So they are asking for the optically active molecule. So in order to become optically active compound, the minimum or the basic requirement is the presence of plane of symmetry, okay. So if plane of symmetry is the plane of symmetry should be absent. So if plane of symmetry is absent in the molecule, okay, remember this, that if plane of symmetry is absent in the molecule, then only we say that the molecule is optically active, okay, then only we say that it is optically active. So if you look upon the options over here, there are 4 options. Just look upon the plane of symmetry. The first one is having both the groups on the same plane, so obviously you will have a plane of symmetry which will bisect the molecule into 2 equal half. So A has a plane of symmetry, so that's why it's not optically active. Option number B will have two plane of symmetry. One plane of symmetry is going to pass through like this, the other plane of symmetry is going to pass through like this. So presence of both these plane of symmetry is going to make the molecule optically inactive. cancel out this as well. Option number C, does it have a plane of symmetry? So it will not have this plane of symmetry which was earlier in option number B, but it has one of the plane of symmetry which will pass through this, which will pass through the molecule like this. Now the other groups are getting equally bisected, so yes, it has a plane of symmetry, it is optically inactive. Talking about option number D, so it does not have any plane of symmetry. You cannot have this plane of symmetry because this group is below, this is above, so that's why. If you want to see it in a different perspective, you can draw this four-membered ring like this, okay. So you can draw the side view of this group, and you will find out that the methyl group on this carbon is below the plane, whereas the methyl group is above the plane. The hydrogens are here, and now if you see the axis of rotation, the axis of rotation is this, okay. This can be rotated, but there is no plane of symmetry. You cannot have plane. There is an axis but no plane. But what is required? Plane. You don't have to look for axis. I have just told you axis for the understanding, so that you understand that what are the symmetry operations there. But yeah, there is no plane of symmetry in the molecule, okay. So that's the option number D, is optically active molecule. I guess you guys have understood up till yet. So far so good. Questions are very simple. Let's go to the next one. Alright, this particular question is a little tricky one. It says that the methyl groups in the following compounds are. So in order to answer this type of questions, like this is based upon the concept called as toposity. So in order to answer questions based upon toposity, I have made video on my particular channel. You can watch those videos, they are already there. I'll link those in this particular video. You'll get the link right now on the right side of your screen. You click on the link and watch that video in detail, so that you understand that how to find out how to find out that whether two groups will be homotopic, diisotopic, or anisotropic. For this particular question, we'll see that in this molecule there is a axis of rotation. So that axis of rotation will pass through this carbon here and the bond, the central of this particular bond between these two carbon. So if you rotate it along this particular C2 axis, you will see that these two methyl groups, if this is methyl group 1, this is 2, if this is phenyl group 1, this is 2. So these groups are going to interchange their places, and that's why the molecule becomes homotopic. If you want to look upon a different perspective of this molecule, I'll show you with that as well. So actually the molecule will be drawn like this, okay. This can be drawn in this way as well, okay. So here you can see that you have the phenyl group, like here you have the phenyl group above the plane, hydrogen below the plane, and here you have phenyl group below the plane and hydrogen above the plane, and on this you have methyl group above and methyl group below, both places, okay. Now the axis actually passes through this particular carbon and the center of this bond. So if you pass this axis like this, so if you rotate it along this particular axis, what is going to happen, that this methyl group is going to interchange with this, okay. They are going to interchange their position, and simultaneously this phenyl group is going to interchange its position with this, because both of them are at 180 degree to each other, okay, or they are trans to each other. So that's why this they are like interreplaceable, or they are replaceable along this particular axis. That's why these two groups will be called as homotopic in nature. All right. So the correct answer for this is going to be option number 1, that is the molecules are homotopic. All right, guys, let's go for the next question. Alright, so we'll talk about this particular question over here. This was asked in CSIR December 2016 exam, and this was asked again for 2 marks. And the question was based upon the conformation of cyclohexane. You can see that this is a cyclohexane in the planar form it's given, and the groups are over here. All the groups are above the plane, and we have to choose the correct chair form conformation of that. Okay, the chair conformation of that. Because we are not given with the boat and others. So the most stable one is the chair form, but we have to just look upon the relative conformation of these methyl groups. So in order to answer this, I have already made a video on my channel. You can watch that particular video if you have not watched it yet. I'll give you the link of that related to the conformation of cyclohexanes, so that will clear up all your doubts. But yet I'll just tell you few things about it, that in order to answer this question, right, you should know some basic things. Like if you have substitution on 1, 2, okay, and if these substitutions are cis to each other in the planar conformation or in the planar structure of the cyclohexane, then this particular group, when you convert this into chair form, they are going to be either axial equatorial, or they will be like equatorial axial, okay. So they will be like, relatively they will be axial equatorial, that's what you should know. and if they are like 1,2 trans, okay, if they are 1,2 trans, in that case they will be either axial axial or equatorial equatorial. All right, so they will be either axial axial or equatorial equatorial. So this thing you should know. The same thing applies on 1,4 conformation as well. That means if it is 1,2 or if it is 1,4, in both the cases the same thing applies. Okay, so if it is 1,4 also, the same thing applies for that as well. So 1,4 cis or 1,2 cis, both of them are going to be axial equatorial. 1,4 trans or 1,2 trans are going to be axial axial or equatorial equatorial. Whereas if you are talking about 1,3 conformation, so 1,3 relative 1,3 groups, if they are cis, let's say, okay, so if they are cis, they are going to be either axial axial, okay, or they are going to be equatorial equatorial, okay, and vice versa, you know that. Okay, so if you have 1,3 trans, they will be axial equatorial. Okay, now look upon this particular molecule. If I number this, if I start numbering here, so according to the IUPAC, if I number it based upon the substituent, so I'll start numbering from here. So 1 2, this will be 3 and this will be 4. So I have to look for the relative substitution on 1 2 position, like I have substitution on 1 2 position and 1 4 position. So if I keep this first one as like 1 2 and both of them are cis, right? So 1 2 cis, so for that if I, they have to be axial equatorial. So if I keep one of them as axial, the other one automatically goes to the equatorial position according to the given, like the correct conformation change. So if it is axial, the other one goes to equatorial position. Then again we have substitution on 1 4 as well. So for 1 4 also, they both of them groups, like both the groups are cis as well. So if the one is at the axial, the other one will go at the equatorial position. So this will go at the equatorial position. That means two of the methyl group will remain at the equatorial position and one of them will remain as the axial position. This should be the most stable conformation of the molecule. Look upon the options now. You can see that only option number 3 has that, where one of the methyl group is at axial and the other two methyl groups are on the equatorial position. The rest of them are not correct. One more thing which you can check out here, that the relative conformation of this 1 and 3, if I number these according to this, so they will be 1 3. So both of them are cis. So 1 3 cis will give you either axial axial or equatorial equatorial. Since equatorial equatorial is more stable one, that's why both of them are equatorial to each other. So that is also getting satisfied. So overall, the most stable conformation will be option number 3. Now I'll tell you one thing, that when this question was asked in CSIR December 2016, many people thought that option number 4 should be correct. Why? Because all these groups are at the equatorial position, and we know that equatorial position are more stable position on the cyclohexane, because it applies less repulsive force, right? There is a less 1,3 diaxial interaction, and because of that it becomes more stable over there. So many people like opted for option number 4, although that was not correct. Okay, you have to also maintain the relative like stereo of the groups of the substituents basically. Alright guys, so this is how we have to approach it. Let's go to the next question. The next question over here was asked in CSIR June 2016 exam, and the question says that the following compound, the stereochemical descriptor for HA and HB is. So what is the relationship between HA and HB that is being asked over here? So you have to look upon the different groups, like different elements of symmetry first of all. So first thing is you should go for the axis of symmetry. So look for the axis of symmetry. Do you have an axis of symmetry? So if I draw a axis from this particular carbon like this, and if I rotate this molecule along this axis, is it a proper rotation? So although these hydrogens might replace both each other, but this particular bulky group which is on the left side will come to the right side if I rotate it by 180 degree, right? So obviously this rotation is not possible. So axis of symmetry is not there. Okay, I'm just making a cross, that means it's not present in this molecule. The second thing is that you have to look for plane of symmetry. So is there any plane of symmetry in the molecule? So you can have a plane, like you can look for a molecular plane. Remember, if you have some group like this, if you have two groups, let's say we have two groups, let's take it as phenyl and this group as some other group OH, and if you have one of the hydrogen which is below the plane, okay, this is hydrogen which is below the plane, and the other hydrogen which is above the plane, okay. So in that case you can have a plane of symmetry which will contain this pH group and OH group, and that plane of symmetry will bisect, like that will be formed like this, that one of the hydrogen will be towards you, like your screen you can imagine your screen as that particular plane. One of the hydrogen, this hydrogen is towards you, that is coming out of the screen, and this hydrogen is going inside of the screen. Okay, so that's how you have a plane of symmetry. So do we have that plane of symmetry? So we would have got that plane of symmetry if the molecule would have been planar. But since the stereochemistry of these two phenyl ring shows that the molecule is not planar, this ring is coming out of the plane, this side also is coming out of the plane, so you cannot apply that plane of symmetry over here, okay, because of the stereochemistry of these two groups. So that's why the plane of symmetry is also absent here. Now since you don't have axis of symmetry, that's why the molecule cannot be homotopic molecule, and since you do not have plane of symmetry, so that's why the molecule cannot be enantiotopic. So in order, if the molecule has a plane of symmetry, it becomes enantiotopic. If the molecule has axis of symmetry, it becomes homotopic. So that's how we see the relationship between the two groups. The third thing is constitutionally heterotropic. Are these molecules constitutionally heterotropic? Are these constitutional isomers of each other? So no, they are not constitutional isomers of each other. So that's why constitutionally heterotropic option is also not followed here. You have to go with the diastereotopic. So these two hydrogens are actually diastereotopic with respect to each other. Alright, so that's how we have to approach it. Let's go for the next question. For constitutionally heterotopic, if you are confused with it, I have explained in my video which I have given link for. Okay, so you can watch that video to understand what that actually means. Alright, so we'll go for the last question of this particular video. The question was asked in CSIR June 2015 exam, and it was asked for 2 marks. The question says that the correct relationship between the following compound is. Now the two molecules are given to you. Again, you have to decide between enantiomer, diastereomer, homotopic and constitutional isomer. So let's look upon at how we'll solve this. Alright, so to answer this particular question, you have to deal with the stereochemistry at two places. First thing is we have a chiral molecule or a chiral carbons, and we also have alene system. Okay, so you have to deal with the stereochemistry of the alene group as well. Now if you are not comfortable with finding out the stereochemistry of alene, biphenyls and spirines, I have made a video and I'll link that over here. You can watch that video completely to understand that how to find out stereochemistry of alene, biphenyls and styrene. It's very important. Okay, so you should know that. So the rule says that you have to start numbering. I'll do for the first molecule. So the rule says that you have to start numbering from the groups which are on the plane. So if I start numbering from there, so this will be my group number 1, this will be my group number 2 based upon the size, like the weight or the mass of the mole of the substituents. So this will be 1 and 2. Going on this, so this will be your third and this will be your fourth. Now since the fourth priority group is going below the plane, so the configuration will remain as it is according to the rotation. So you can see the rotation goes like 1, 2 and 3. So from 1, 2 and 3 we are going in this direction, right? So 1, 2 and 3, it's going in this direction. So this particular rotation is S. Okay, it's anti-clockwise, so that's why it will be S. So the stereochemistry for the alene part comes out to S. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing is to find out the stereochemistry at this particular position. Okay, at this particular carbon. So if you look here, when we have to find out the heaviest group is OH, so we'll number it 1, then we'll number this side as 2, we'll number this side as 3, and since the fourth priority group will be hydrogen, which will be below the plane. Okay, this is going to be the fourth priority group, and that's why the configuration will remain same, that is not going to change. So if you see the rotation goes in this direction, which is a clockwise rotation. So this is R. So what we got for the first molecule, we got S and R. Okay, S for the alene part and R for the chiral molecule. Okay, again here also we'll find it for the alene part first of all. So for the alene part, we'll do it in the same way. Start numbering from the groups which are on the plane. So this is 1, this is the first priority group, this is the second priority group. Here this will be your third priority group, and this is going to be the fourth priority group. Now if you do the rotation, you will find out that the rotation is going to be in this direction. This is going to be the clockwise rotation, right? It's a clockwise rotation, but since fourth priority group is coming out of the plane, since the fourth priority group is coming out of the plane, that's why the configuration will change. So although it's coming R, but it will get converted into S. So you will be having S configuration for the alene part. Talking about this particular carbon on the chiral carbon, start numbering from here. So this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3, and the fourth priority group now is going to be above the plane, because that this group is below the plane. So the hydrogen, which is the fourth priority group, is going to come above the plane. Here when you do the rotation, you are doing the rotation in the anti-clockwise direction. It should come out S, but it will come out R, because the fourth priority group is not below the plane. So that's why it will be R. So you got the same confirmation. See, you have got the same like configurations of both the groups. So you have got S and R for that. So S for the allene part and R for the chiral center. So now you can see very easily that both the molecules have actually, although they look quite different, but they have same configurations. The absolute configuration remains same. For the allene part it is matching, and for the chiral carbon also it's matching. Okay, so that's why both the molecules are going to be called as homomers. Homomers means two groups which have similar like configurations. Okay, the overall absolute configuration should be same for both of them. Alright, so I hope you guys understood this, that how to approach this, right? Alright guys, so that's all for this particular video. I hope that whatever we have studied in this video was much clear to you. You guys understood, you got to know some new things, and if you have any doubt, if you want to ask anything, you can ask that in the comment sections below. And if you are new to this channel, if you have not subscribed the channel yet, do subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, give it a like and share it with your friends, share it in your WhatsApp group, in your Telegram group, everywhere, wherever you want. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much for watching, and do let me know in the comments that what next topic you want me to take in this particular series, right? So this was a topic wise solve problem series. I hope you guys are enjoying, and thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye bye.